Damn right. Oh.
Welcome back, guys. Flipping it around today. I'm sitting in a different seat.
Changing it up.
Today we're going to be going over daily routine habits.
Yeah.
Routine and habits, how important they are to your daily life and getting things right. Just so if you look at the previous podcast, just putting them all into play, bringing them into habit, bringing them into routine, not making it feel like a chore or something like, oh God, I've got to do that again. It's just building it. Consistency. You start doing things consistently better, you get better outcomes. You do things consistently bad, you get the outcomes of bad. So it's just trying to build in routines, build in habits.
Yeah, the joy about a daily routine, and whenever you say routine, people think, oh, I'm just going to live a monotonous life of kind of next day to the next, not really thinking. But if you think about your day in general anyway, the large proportion of it's taken up by a routine.
Something you get up for work, you go to school. It's all routines.
You brush your teeth. It's just stuff you don't think about.
Yeah, we live in a system where routine is made.
I think we've always, it's kind of a natural, well, we've got as we've spoken about with our sleep, we've got a natural
circadian rhythm,
of sleep. And the same as this.
And I'm sure even cavemen had a routine. Like they'd go out, they'd go hunt, they'd come back, they'd
make fire,
make children, and
that's basically the perfect team.
Yeah, perfect. I wish we could go back to that. Huh? Just go out, hunt your food, hunt your women. Happy days.
Great way to start. Yeah, so like we just kind of ties in everything that we've spoken about, because anyone who's ever known a smoker knows going from smoking 20 a day to then completely cold turkey is near enough. It's very hard work and very, very limited. What I'm saying is you're trying to break a habit, but you're trying to just break it straight off. It's like falling off a cliff. Whereas something like that, you can put habits into place that will help you slowly reduce your intake of cigarettes, as I'll use that analogy still.
Yeah.
Over a long period of time, which makes it more sustainable cut out. Same goes for like when you're adding things in. It's like trying to add stuff in. Yeah, like, okay, I want to exercise, and you've never exercised before, and you're like, okay, I want to do 6 days a week, and your schedule's already busy. How likely is it going to be 6 days a week? So maybe start with one.
Yeah. And
then go from there. But the whole thing about like a daily routine or habits is, it makes up like 50, 60+% of your day.
Easily.
Think about it, and think about the things that you do. We're not really thinking about it. Brushing your teeth is the prime example.
It's a prime habit, you know.
You got instilled that from a young kid, I hope, and you've kind of kept that throughout.
Keep your teeth healthy.
Exactly.
Stay away from the dentist.
Exactly. A lot of money. So that, like having structure and having things that you don't almost have to think about to an extent is going to open up your brain capability outside of that for things that you enjoy more. So if you don't want to focus your energy on brushing your teeth 2 minutes every 2 to 3 times a day, because it's just going to be like, it takes up a lot of mental capacity, it takes up a lot of work.
Yeah.
And as we all know, pretty fucking tired from a long day of work and then maybe even training. So that's why putting in good quality habits around your training to make better lifestyle changes or to increase performance, or just to make a change to your surrounding environment, doing it slowly through habits and building them into your daily routine is the best way to do it.
Yeah, and then we'll find people go, oh, I haven't got the time to do it, and we'll go, well, one way to find out you have got the time is if you grab your phone and look at your screen time. Then you'll probably see. Then you'll probably see you have got time to do it, because I think one natural thing for most people, a bad habit now is the phone. I know I'm bad at it.
Well, especially as we've been stuck at home, it's like,
especially after all the lockdowns, we've picking up that phone and looking at things and social media, and there's good and bads with all this, but we can definitely look at, if you look at your screen time and you're looking at a screen time of 2 to 3 hours a day, what constructively could you be doing with good habits in that time? You could easily be meal prepping in that time. You could easily do a mobility routine. You could easily be setting yourself to go to bed earlier. Like, you take that 3 hours out of the day. I know it's spread out of the day, but take that away and try and shuffle your day into a good habit is a way of looking at it and going, well, you do have time.
Oh yeah, I think you boil a day down to the 24 hours. You work for 8. You spend eight in bed. I hope most people spend less than 8 hours in bed. Pardon me. So that's 16 hours of your day. We've got another 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? Pardon me. An hour to train. Okay, you got 7 hours. Cook, eat, maybe another hour and a half.
Yeah.
Like, you've still got an abundance of time in the day. It's just where it's used, where it's kind of lost. And as we said, like, a lot of it will be the routine that is mundane, that you don't want to have to focus on. You don't want to have to spend brain capacity, really meticulously focusing on it. You want to actually free up that opportunity to enjoy other things.
Yeah.
So I think, like, perfectly, as you said, like, I know people use predominantly now, like, their phone for work, emails, text messages, all that. One of the great ways to add a habit in slowly is what's called, like, habit stacking. So say you've got to answer emails, and I'll use mobility as a perfect thing. Sit in some stretches and answer some emails on your phone.
Yeah.
So
great way of doing it.
Yeah, ultimately multitasking. Guys, you're going to suck at this.
Yeah, women are much better at multitasking.
But that's, just one of the best things if you've don't have an abundance of time, putting 2 and 2 together. I wouldn't, there's obviously certain things, driving and eating, I probably wouldn't put together, or driving and texting. But it's just trying to create a way that it's less likelihood for failure. If it's added to something you're doing already, it makes it easier.
Yeah.
That's why I love using brushing your teeth. If you've got to do some, stretches or some ankle mobility, do it whilst you're brushing your teeth.
Yeah, I've actually got a habit. She hates me doing it. Because my bath is next to the sink, but I only do it on one leg, funny enough. When I brush my teeth, I've got a habit of putting my leg up and leaning forward. I just do it every day. So
on the one leg?
On the one leg, that's why it's got better mobility than the left leg. So I need to switch it around.
2 minutes a day?
Yeah, 2 minutes a day. But you could do many things, like, even if you think, all right, I've got the same thing, answer some emails or get on the computer, put it on your kitchen worktop, prep some meals. Do it at the same time. I know it's a bit of brain thinking and multitasking, but you can merge things together. So if you've got a busy lifestyle, you can merge good habits in there. Especially, it depends on goal settings as well. I think goal settings are very important when it comes down to habits. Because we can all go, I want this goal, I want that goal, and then I'll go, right, now how are you going to achieve that goal? Now that's when you will have to lay in some good habits to achieve that goal. It's not just a case of doing it. If your case go, right, I want to lose some weight, then we know that you're going to have to put in some good habits to do that. So you're going to have to meal prep, unless you obviously buy, there's plenty of nutrition companies now that you can buy your meals from. It's fair enough, but if you haven't got the money for that, because it can be cost effective, then prepping your own meals, you've got to find time to do that. So setting goals comes in with good habits. So you've got to have habits to lead into those goals. You can't just set goals and then have no route how to get to those goals.
Yeah, and if your habits you're trying to, or the habits and goals you're aligning with ultimately don't align, then you're less likely to stick to something. You read a load of 1,000 times people talking about actions speak louder than words, or your actions are basically proof of what you truly want. So if you're trying to implement a habit and you have to try over and over again, and you do it for 2 weeks and you end up stopping, you do it for a month, you end up stopping, and you're just in this constant cycle of trying and not implementing enough, then you've got to have a little bit of feedback loop with yourself and look at whether actually that habit aligns with the goal, but then also aligns with you.
Yeah. And then there's another way, don't overwhelm yourself with habits. So don't pick 5 or 6 to roll out. Start with 1, master the 1. It could take a few weeks, could take a month. But once you fit that in, you go, okay, now I'm ready for another one. Maybe you've got a long time ahead of you. It doesn't have to be rushed.
Yeah.
Just start putting it into place. Pick your worst habit first. and fix on that one first, because that's going to be the most challenging one. If you can get over that hurdle, then any other habits are going to roll out from after that. So start. Just
I think sleep's one of the biggest ones that we talk to people about, and they're like, I go to bed I'm going to use midnight and I want to go to bed at 10, so the next day they're like, try and go to bed at 10 and they're just wide awake. We go back to the circadian rhythm and how that doesn't align. So it might take you, as you said, a year to go from sleeping regularly at midnight to getting to bed at 10 and sleeping regularly at 10. It might take a whole year to make that different, change.
And, I found for me, so obviously when I was doing shift work for quite a long time, I realised once I've read into the importance of sleep and wondering why I was feeling so fatigued and achy all the time. And because I always just thought, you can get away with no sleep and then you can try and catch it up. But it doesn't work like that. There's no bank reserve for your sleep. So once you've lost that sleep, you've lost that sleep. So for me, it was sort of go, right, okay, I know I'm messed up now. And everything I was trying to find along the way, is it this, is it that? It was staring me in the face. It was just lack of sleep. So once I cleared my pathway for better sleep, it took me a while to adjust to it. It took me a while to understand, right, go to bed earlier, get off the phone, don't play games at night.
And just moving the bedtime like 10 minutes earlier.
Yeah,
like 10 minutes earlier, and do that for a month, 2 months.
Yeah, just building it gradually, and then building up that consistency with the sleep. So I could see it was building up. Now I am getting 6 hours. Now that is 6.5 hours. Now I am up to 7 hours. Now I'm into a routine where I'm like, okay, unless one of my children get me up in the night, I'm going to sleep 7 hours. It's not a problem as long as I've put that time in to go to bed. Nutrition's the same thing, putting in that time to make sure your meals are there, so that when you do have like a hard day where you haven't got time, you're not going to slip off and go McDonald's drive-through. You've got your meal there, you've got it ready, so that habit's not going to slip up. It's just building it into your routines.
And there's loads of tricks. So one of our personal favourite books is on habits, called Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a great book, and he basically just lines out a lot of the stuff we kind of go through today, but why it's important, how different tips and tricks that we've used with potential clientele, with ourselves, and as I said, success and failure, and then also stuff that we've learned from this book. So if it's something you're like, actually I just want to get into a more routine life, I want to know what's the best way that aligns with me to get a habit ingrained enough that it just becomes routine without thinking about it, then I definitely read his book, which we'll put a little link at the bottom in regards to that. But I think it's because if we're a performance podcast, so we'll talk about kind of training for a sec. And as you were saying, like with the food, same with training. When you have days where you're like, I don't want to train, I really don't want to train, but you're 25 years into your training lifestyle.
Yep.
And it's just something that's part of your daily routine, even if it's something you're not excited for. It's just like you get.
Yeah, like I have a lot of my friends now, because obviously I'm at my age. They go, Tris, how do you still do it? Like, how do you get up and go? Because it's a routine. I don't think about having to train. It's my job. I am in the gym, but it's still a case. It doesn't matter what I was doing. I would still be training every day. It's part. I need it now. It's like I have to do it, and I've still got the bug for it. I've managed to work out things that I want to progress in, which I've never progressed in. So I still find things to keep me, in tune, keep going, and I love it. And it's a routine. And that's one thing. It's a habit. I don't have to worry about that falling out. I will always have that habit. I will always have that bug to get in the gym. I do have other downfalls. Nutrition is, sometimes I do yo-yo with nutrition, and it is, it's not, it's easy. It can be hard, especially when you have a busy lifestyle and a busy lifestyle at home with children. There are sometimes more things around the house you shouldn't be eating, and it's easy. Like the biggest one for me is when I'm tired, I'll reach for something that I shouldn't be reaching.
You reach for sugar,
and hey, you're human. Don't kick yourself down for that. But what I've realised from doing bodybuilding and doing diets and stuff is, majority of the time I'm at 80% up. You know, my habits are good 80% of the time. You have that little rocky road, but 80% I'm good. Now, if it's going the other way, that's when you've drastically got to look at it and change those habits. But majority of the time, I'm there. Hey, you're allowed to slip up with humans. It happens.
Yeah. If you want to, like, if you find that you do overindulge certain times of the week, or you feel like you should never villainize any food, personally, apart from McDonald's, because it's shit.
I still love a cheeseburger though.
It's the smell. It
just tastes good.
No, you're gonna get one on the way home now. You've got to drive through right now.
Not today. Five Guys needs to hurry up and open up.
Oh my god, don't.
They're opening up one in Hemel
as well. Jeez.
That's already been built.
Where's the Snowden's one?
I don't know. I don't even know if they. I know they've said, but I don't think there's any.
Disappointment.
For all you Five Guy fans out there, you know,
yeah,
they're opening up everywhere now,
and that doesn't help. So that links perfectly to the point that I was going to say is, yeah, if you find that you overindulge in a sense and you slip out of that 80-20 that I kind of use as a rough guide, and
it's a good guide.
Use as a rough guide. If you find you slip out of that a lot more, one of the main things that's Five Guys is not making it easier. Like remove that, whatever it is, remove that temptation. Get it out of the house. So it's not obvious. It's not obvious in your life, because you go into a cupboard and the first thing you see is a packet of crisps or chocolate bar. You're like, and you're a bit hungry. You're naturally going to grab the sugar.
Yeah,
you're naturally going to grab the quick carbs. Whereas if you go shopping, and I think we spoke about this in our nutrition, it's like always eat before you go shopping, because you'll just make poor food decisions.
You grab that bag or open it up and do what I do, then put the bag on the side and look. Hey, I've shopped there all my life.
Yeah.
Some freebies.
Oh, of course. I used to work there.
But no, don't go shopping on an empty stomach.
But then, so then you start to remove these, or make it less obvious in your surrounding vicinity. So when it actually comes down to it, you're like, I could do a really quick sugary snack. There's no chocolate bar, no crisp. But there might be something different. It might be something that aligns better with your goals or what you want to do or how you feel, because you know you're going to feel a little bit crappy after eating a whole bar of dairy milk.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like number two, is you're just removing temptation of things. Remove it out of sight. It's out of sight, out of mind. Like if you don't, I guess it's a little bit more challenging with kids, because you've got to have there's certain things you have in the house.
And you know, do try and keep the treats to a good, healthy sort of point. But there are the kids. There are a little treat in there that's, you know, a treat, and it is their treat, and then they're not allowed to fall out of a bad habit because we have control of it.
Yeah.
But we don't have control of it. Yeah, exactly. So we're more likely to go, okay, I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oop. Now and then you do that again the next day. And it becomes rolling into a habit. It's very hard. I was talking to a member the other day, and he said he's just got a bad habit of having a cup of tea, midday to evening doing his work on the computer, and has to have some biscuits with it. You know, that becomes a habit every day. Now you add those calories and those sugars up over the week, it's quite a lot. So it becomes a bad habit. So it's a case of being understanding where you are, like I say, in line with your goals, and get those habits rolling. And like I said, don't overwhelm them. Don't go for it all in one basket, because you're just going to probably set yourself up to fail. Bring them in gently.
Yeah.
But try and start with one of the main ones.
Yeah, go back to James Clear in his book. One of the big things he talks about is just 1% better every day. So there's a little diagram we've got on the screen that we'll get up. Basically just talks about you've got to have a vision of ultimately you've got to have a vision of where you want to go, because if you don't have a path that you want to go, as you say, we can call it goals, visions, paths, whatever. But if you're not directing yourself towards something, you're just going to go in like a constant feedback loop of like, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this. What's going to break that loop? Whereas you have a path to go down, somewhere you want to get, and understand that 1% better every day is better than 10% better one day, and then
no percent for the next month. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's where the power of a habit and the daily routine will be, because it's not going to benefit yourself massively, like hugely now in the now. It's going to benefit yourself like 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line.
Yeah,
more than anything. Because you're not going to see the implications of just one day eating a couple less biscuits with your tea. Like, you're not going to see that difference, whereas in a
Well, no, I
2
think
years...
we can look at most things a long run. So like I say, we come back to like when you said at the beginning of smoking. You know, we know you can get away with smoking 20 fags a day for quite a long time. But then once you get down 10 years, 20 years down the line, then for the majority of people, we start to see health complications come out of that, you know, and that's all built up. And it's very, you know, as well, if you look at like the same with like alcohol and stuff like that, we know that, I know the liver is very, very fast to regenerate, you know, and same with some smokers, and you know, once they have quit, like the lungs can, it will never be 100%, but they will start to regenerate and get a lot of that tar and stuff out. So it's showing you the long road of, and with everything, it's the long road. So if that 1% is every day, 5 years of doing 1% every day, you're now up in your game.
Yeah, I read a quote a couple of months back, which was a researcher talking all about kind of the categories of death and what causes death predominantly now. And the top 5 things are death by lifestyle more than anything else. It used to be road traffic accidents, natural disasters, so on and so forth. Now it's lifestyle aspects that will slowly, as you say, with smoking, you might not feel the effect there, but 10, 20, 30 years down the line,
you're going to feel it.
You need respirators, you're struggling to breathe daily, you can't get up downstairs.
And then you're looking at your age capacity then, you're older, you're not recovering as quick. So when you do get sick then, it's a lot harder to get over something than when you're young. So if you really do think about, you know, trying to age well, you know, that's why I'm like with my training has changed, where I'm on so much more moving better, because I know when I'm 60, 70 years old, I'm going to reap the benefits of what I'm doing now, rather than just trying to go hard at it and not worrying about movement quality. That's one of my things now. I want to be one of the 70-year-old guys that move really well. It's still
deadlift 100 kilos.
Yeah, or more than that at that age, you know. So it really is important that habits ties into everything.
And just understanding that even though they take up the majority of your day, the implications from putting in good habits aren't seen straight away. It's like stepping into the gym and doing one workout and being like, why haven't I got a six-pack yet? It's like, we know that's unrealistic, so it's the same with this. Being like, I'm going to see a massive improvement next week, next month. No, because some of these habits, as you said, if you work on your hardest one, it could take a year to slowly change. Because then you've got to think about the bias that you've built up of years and years. You go back to the client who drinks tea and biscuits. Like, how many years has he done that?
Exactly.
Done that?
Knocking it out.
How many years? And you basically just have to unravel, not all, like a large proportion of that, because it's so ingrained.
Yeah.
So we'll go to the next point, through consistency.
I love that word.
Consistency is beautiful.
It's the best one for everything.
It's just, you just throw consistency out there for everything.
So not hard work pays off, consistency pays off. Consistency pays off. Hard work can pay off, but that could be a short point. How hard are you working to how hard you can handle? Where if you're consistent at doing things good, it's always going to pay off. Yeah. Always. It will just keep paying off.
And like with a habit of trying to add something into your daily routine, that is ultimately it. It's consistent. It's as many touch points on that as possible. You think about why it's so easy to brush your teeth, because it's twice a day. You're constantly having reminders, touch points, and when you were a kid, I don't think anyone really remembers learning how to brush their teeth as a kid. I don't.
Well, you know, yeah, for me.
When you have kids.
Yeah, when you have kids now, it's like
they don't think about it.
They don't think, but you've got to, you know, every time they go back to the dentist, you go, there you go.
And you
when the dentist goes, oh yeah, your teeth are really good. And then that's it, because we've been consistent making them brush their teeth in the morning and in the evening.
And yeah, it's constant points, constant touch points. Constant touch points are the thing that you want to achieve, will make it easier to be ingrained, rather than being like, I want to train and I want to get into a good consistent habit of training, and being like, okay, I'm going to do 2 hour-and-a-half days in the gym. It'd be better just to split them. Do 4 45 minutes, you've got more touch points, you're more used to getting into the gym, just building a habit at a little bit quicker pace, and then you go back to what you were saying about the kids and your kids, and when you go to the dentist, it's that constant feedback loop of, am I going in the right direction? Is this what I want? Does this align with me? Does this align with my goals? Because your actions do speak kind of volumes of who you are as an individual.
Yeah.
And then who you're going to be down the road, potentially. So that's I guess like in terms of training, like the habits for outside of training for you, is you've taken different stages of training.
Massively. Right? Yeah, massively. The big one for me was sleep. That was by far the biggest problem I had. So building in habits to do that, going to bed earlier, But
then, like in the bodybuilding days, in terms of nutrition, because that's a big routine or kind of habitual change you have to make. You changing like what food you're putting into, like the taste of it, how frequent it is.
Once I started training with proper bodybuilders who taught me the right way of bodybuilding nutrition, then it was up. Fucking hell, a lot of food. Had to build it in. It was either a case of you don't, then you won't get the goals that you want. Build it in, and I've managed to reach the goals that I wanted. Getting on the size, getting on the strength. It all came from those habits of building in the breakfast on time, building it in gently, where, it was very random with food and the food quality wasn't as good. So, and it wasn't a case of doing it straight away in a month and getting it. It was a case of doing that over years and then seeing the improvements happen.
Yeah, and that's like, most people probably align this with dieting. Like, how can I make better habits with nutrition? Because as we've spoken about nutrition, one of the podcasts coming up soon, we talk about a different approach to nutrition in itself.
Yeah.
And how focusing on making habit changes through building knowledge and through building clients' understanding of what they truly want out of it, then you can build better habits for your eating, and then you're going to be more aligned with that kind of 80-20. You're going to feel better about yourself in a sense. But it's also just understanding how to put them in terms of a nutrition sense, because everyone's just like, let's just go back to, you get a meal plan and it's just like completely change it.
Yeah.
It's just like you're completely changing your whole routine, your whole eating habit, and I guess that's like what it was with the bodybuilding. It was like a massive shift, and I don't know, did you have little drop offs?
Oh, of course you do.
Your diet.
Of course you have drop offs.
Just suddenly like.
Of course you have to, unless obviously when you're prepping for a comp, there's no drop offs because you won't be able to look good on stage. But in the off season, of course, there's loads of drop offs. You're human.
Yeah.
And then it was all about, I'm bulking so I can have it because I need the extra calories in it. But it's not falling. Like I say, when it was a small falling out of a habit. The majority of the time, it's consistently good.
Yeah. Then in terms of stuff like building habits, it's all about the small wins. It's all about the little things. That
you can enjoy yourself. You can go out and have a drink. You can go out with friends and have a nice meal. As long as your normal routine is predominantly better. Of course you can go out and move, but when that becomes inconsistent now and you're out with your friends every night and you're out doing things that you shouldn't be doing, then obviously you're going to start to see your rewards slow down and training gets harder, or anything, or even life, even just energy levels. If you're going out and you lack of sleep, they're so important. And we're all now where we are with our knowledge and wisdom of training, how it is now through the internet and social media, how you can gather so much information. We're really starting to understand now that the outside point of your training is the most important part. Everyone can hit a gym in an hour, but if they're doing the rest of their day not very well, then that hour's always going to be pretty much not wasted, because it's still good you're getting in and moving and doing something, but you're only going to slow your process down and build, especially when you get to those later hurdles. When we talk about when you've been training for 2-3 years and things start to slow down, and it is a case of adjusting now your lifestyle to improve your benefits in the gym and so on. So
and like aligning habits even more and more with each thing, enjoying the small moments of it, and as I said, that like 1% better every day rather than huge changes day after day. It's not, because
when you make a drastic change that's so big, sometimes it's like with everything, you might set yourself up to fail.
You open a door for it easier to break, and then then you're kind of in that own feedback loop of like, oh, I broke the habit, like, or I ate something I didn't want to, now I feel bad about myself. Then that leads into you just eating more of that thing. So it's like those things, and that's where you changing a couple of small habits over a long period of time can completely evolve your mindset towards pretty much anything you put your mind to. But then also the environment within like your close vicinities, like family, friends, kids. But then also people on the outskirts from what you do, the way you hold yourself or things you talk about. Like all these things have an effect. And they all come down from mindful change in a way that's slow and progressive rather than gigantic.
Yeah, fast and hard. So take your time.
Like breathing fire out your arse.
That's the breathing fire out your arsehole that everyone loves to do. I think they're going to reap the benefit from it. But it doesn't work like that, I'm afraid. Take your time. So with habits.
I think, the key things are either make it obvious if it's something you want to add in, make it obvious. You want to learn how to play the guitar, get your guitar out, put it in front of your desk, like make it obvious.
Yeah.
And then you can use that on the reverse, where you make it not obvious. You take the snacks out of the house. You don't buy them when you're at the supermarket. You hide them away, a little bit more challenging. They're not in. If you've got like cake sitting on your side, always. I know. When my mum bakes a cake, see it and I'm like, I'll have a slice. And then like you come down later, you see it and I'm like, I'll have another one. And then like the whole cake's gone after like a couple of hours.
And you got that guiltiness.
No, hell no, it's good cake. I just get moaned at. With the cake. So you can use it the other way around, like making things not obvious, taking them out of your peripheral vision, your eyesight day to day, removing from the house, the cupboards, and then I think the other points kind of in terms of creating a habit is like stack it to something you do already. It's like this, if you cycle to work or you go on the train, and go to work into London, something you're doing on a regular basis, you can get an audiobook. You want to read a book, you might not enjoy reading on the train, get an audiobook. It's like you're adding it to something you do anyway, and you don't even think about getting the train.
Yeah, so that ties in perfectly with like if you're just scrolling endlessly on Instagram, getting nothing from it, just like oh god, blah blah blah. That could be a time you could be listening to an audiobook and learning something. Listening to us, a podcast.
There you go. Buy it, and we've got loads of book recommendations. But at the beginning, it's not going to be easy. Yeah, because I know a lot of people like to get on the train and just kind of like relax. They're like, okay, I'm going to have a busy day and. It's going to take up a lot of energy at the front end. Maybe. But over time, it just becomes so habitual that you don't even think about it.
That might be a good thing for us to do down the line. Maybe a book club.
Book club. Got lots of book recommendations.
So we could all start with a book, read it, talk about it over a podcast or whatever, and then if you guys are interested in that, I need to read more.
There you go. It's accountability.
Accountability. I buy books and I don't read them.
Just to fill the shelves up.
I collect them. Audiobooks I do well with.
Yeah. But that's another thing, like having a way of accountability.
Yeah.
The way you do it for, I know a lot of people do it for their kids, is you have like charts, like you give them gold stars, all that
Perfect.
stuff. That's accountability.
Of course it does, it works.
And then it's rewarding the small wins.
Rewarding the small wins.
Not with something drastic. Okay, I didn't buy that bar of chocolate from the shop, but I've still got half a pack of Marylands I'm going to eat. That's not what we're talking about. But just rewarding those small wins, because all habits is about becoming someone rather than like doing something.
Yeah.
Which I think is the key thing. Anything more to add?
I think that's enough.
Yeah, just build a
before we go over the same things.
Just build a solid routine daily.
Pick something, start working on it straight away. Don't hesitate to wait. Think, right, Monday, if it's two sugars less out of your tea, that's already starting something. Simple, keep it simple, build momentum, then you can challenge yourself with more, bring it in, and then away you go. Your habits are rolling in, your routines are getting better. Sleep's always a good one for everyone to look at, going to bed a little bit earlier. Getting off your devices, not being on your device. Oh no, I need to. My habit's really bad. That's definitely something I need to start playing with. getting off that bloody phone. But at the same time, I learn a lot from it. But time doesn't need to be every minute of the day.
Exactly, yeah, just because you've got free time, you can use it elsewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, if habits is something you've struggled to build, or you've, like, daily routine you feel goes out of kilter a lot, hopefully you've taken stuff from this
today
podcast
and start putting it in. And if you do, you know, like I say, with any of our platforms, reach out, let us know if anything you've done. We want to hear from you guys to make sure that we are getting the best content out to you, so that you are putting this into play. It is helping you change your lifestyles and your performance, or whatever you do. You know, push a like and subscribe, stay up to date with us. We're going to keep stuff rolling out. We've got some really interesting more podcasts coming out, some more great guests. We keep it rolling. Like I say, we try and, we do keep one coming out every week. So there's a big catalogue for you newcomers to come into and have a look back through. Or for you guys who've been with us from the start, thank you very much. We're going to keep it going. We're not going to stop. We've got so much to talk about. New things we're learning, old things we know. It just don't end from there. So we're going to wrap that up for today. Thanks for tuning in. I will catch you on the next one.
Sweet.
Take it easy.